Morning, so it's Friday, 3rd of July. We've potentially got a trade set up this morning. So we're bearish on the daily. We have a low, a high, a low, a high. And then we've broken structure to the downside, pulled back into premium, and then continued downwards again, breaking structure once again. Possible pullbacks inbound after a break of structure, but nothing confirmed yet. On the 4 hour, we're trending down after that mitigation of the daily premium. Lows, high, lows, high, lows, and we are pulling back now, possibly making a new high to continue down. Let's have a look where we are on the fib level. We've also just tagged premium, so this is part of the overall narrative of that gives me a good trade setup. So we're bearish on the daily, bearish on the 4 hour, and we've just tagged the premium of the last swing leg, so that's important. On to the 1 hour, we can see that 1 hour leg has pushed up, tagged the premium, and then rejected. That was yesterday at 1 p.m. Jumping onto the entry time frame, onto the 5 minute, we can see this trend line building here. Frankfurt has opened, taking out Tokyo highs. There's one thing that's really nice, one thing I like to see is Tokyo moving up all night like that, or moving down, because often there's a good chance you'll get the reversal on on Frankfurt and London Open. We've also pulled into this extreme, so if anything, if the setup comes, it'll be short today. So if we look at the trade plan, we've got betting on the sweep to fuel the move. So that's just one sentence that makes me think, makes me see the trade model that I'm looking for in my head. It's one sentence that sort of resonated with me, so it's a good prompt. Is it obvious, or are you convincing yourself? I have had a bad habit of convincing myself that there's a trade there when there's not. So unless it's obvious, I'm not taking it, because I seem to know if it's obvious, those trades always win. If it's one of those where I'm sort of like, maybe this, maybe that, this works, that works, and I'm a bit conflicted, I always lose. All things are identified. What we want to see is a break of structure down to show a clear move. This is what's going to validate the trade for me. I want to see London now either take that high and then break structure, and then we're going to enter right there and catch that move, or London's going to open, just break structure, Frankfurt's going to be the sweep, and then we're going to enter here and catch that move. So GBP USD had the break of structure, so exactly the same setup. We've got, if anything, GBP's actually pulled deeper into the 4 hours at premium. So if anything, it's more validated as GBP on this particular trade. But that's had the liquidation, the break structure. London's now open, so the limit's on the 50%. We're covering the high, the liquidation leg. The key for me in trades is, because this is where I always go wrong, and I can already feel myself getting a little worked up. Not massively, but I guess you're always going to have that element in trading, aren't you? You're always going to have a little element of nerves. My biggest thing here is just fucking leaving the trade alone. Yeah, because it is a limit order. You're always going to go into a little bit of drawdown. It's never going to quite tag you and then move, although sometimes it does. Because it's a limit order, you are catching the pullback, so it's always going to draw down a little bit. And to be fair, the model sometimes during certain market conditions will draw down to 90% of that liquidation leg. So this liquidation leg that we're actually entering with a limit on, we enter on the 50% of the fib, it can draw down all the way to up to the 90%. So, but the sweep is the protected high. The thesis of the trade is that high. and that should hold, and then obviously the stop's there. If that goes, the trade idea is completely invalidated. So yeah, right, hopefully it's a win. If it's a loss, don't matter, he's on model, and we should be good. So back from work now with a pretty good goggle time. We've closed manually because coming towards 3 o'clock, 3:30, we were just sort of melted. We were just ranging and not really moving anywhere. I mean, price probably will push down to take the lows, but given it's a Friday, I don't really want to be in a position over the weekend, and I didn't really want price to potentially come back close to entry before then moving again, you know, on Monday, or even reversing over the weekend. Especially with Trump in the White House, it's always best to just not have a position open over the weekend in case there's a tweet or he just does fucking something. Yeah, successful trade. Hopefully there's more next week.